I'm Aiman, and welcome back to our build of the Hardtop Gazebo. In today's video we're going to be building the roof support structure. So already we've built the main supports and we've screwed it to the ground using the anchors. We've tried checking how level it is, and it's mostly level. You can see it's still a tiny bit off. And in fact, if we tried to level from that side to that side, we can actually see that the side towards the backyard is lower because my dad designed this to be a tiny bit sloped. If you're in civil engineering, you know about runoff and stuff like that. So it's for the rainfall to drain out. But if we want to solve that, all we have to do is to just raise these tiles and make it level. But it's not sloped enough to where it'd be an issue or something worth raising the tile. So we're going to continue on. The next few steps are going to be pretty chill. Again, to make your process easy, of course, have a ladder and have some power tools, because using manual Allen keys or screwdrivers is kind of a pain. So in my case, I have a Milwaukee with the Allen key attachment, and I have a DeWalt for my screwdriver. So I guess if you're interested in buying them, we'll put a link to them in the description down below. But we'll get right started. The next few parts that we're going to use for this step are going to be the E parts. So let's go take a look. So we're going to be building like a little spider that goes on top of the main structure. And the diagonal parts are going to be shaped like this. So they have this main one that spans to the center, and this is actually in the center, and you put all four of them together, and they come together in an X shape. And they go on the corners of the frame. And then after that, then these are single parts. These are E1s, so like these. And they're going to go in the middle, not the diagonals. Alright, so let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to take part EB, part EA, and part 17, as well as this little part 18, and then a few of these 16 screws. So let me go gather that. Alright, so while I'm looking for these parts, my dad's going to go back and make sure everything is secured and fully tightened. And I guess also square. So let me go find those parts. My dad will help me out here. Okay, so just a small addendum. We're recording this after we've already finished building the roof. But there's a part I neglected to mention. Is these little covers that go on the outside edge of the top of the frame. So K1 and K. So there's 4 of each. So K is a corner cover. It goes here. And it looks like it's a tiny bit structural. It connects these two beams at the top. And if you've already put the roof on, then it's just a matter of taking the 2 panels off. But in the case of the middle one, which simply goes on top, on the side of here, which it looks more like it's cosmetic. It doesn't really do much. You'd have to take off this top beam, or if you're in the process of building it, then you just put it on before you put the roof on. But in our case, since it looks like it's cosmetic, we could just put one bolt at the bottom and leave it like that. But just doing it a little addendum because we missed this before. Alright, so now we have our parts EA and EB here. And the way that they're going to go together is this 17 piece is going to line up with, look at that. Little manufacturing defect that we're gonna have to pry out. But anyway, they line up with the holes on the part. And in this case, assuming that these are actually the top, so this slanted part is the top. Looking at it from the bottom, this is gonna go on the underside of EB. From our view right now, it's on the top, but it's on the underside ultimately. And it's going to go on top of EA. And the reason why is because when we flip this over, this is going to be the main roof. And then this is gonna be the center, the tinier roof that goes on top. So just note that this piece here, it has a flat side for the underside, and it has a V-shaped side for going on top of EA. And to screw them together, wow, these are hot right now. We're going to need a, before it was a 4mm and a 6mm bolt, now it's a 5mm with these number 16 long bolts that come in this package. And we're also going to need these number 18 pieces. I think these act as washers, and they're going to go on the underside of 17. So let's see what that looks like when we put that together. I'll just have this here so you can look at it while I'm doing it. So, have the bolt, have 18, have EA, and have that go through EA. Come on. I guess we have to screw it through. So, while we're here, let's position E17. Make sure that it's the concave side. And then while I have it here, let's get some other 17s on there. And then you're going to want to repeat this for all 4 corners. Okay. So I guess you can just screw this all the way through and then... Okay, that one goes through loosely. So I assume this one's supposed to be able to push through. There we go. So I guess you could just push it through, you don't have to screw it in. That makes sense. And then push it through this one. There we go. Okay, I was wondering why we had to screw it through. Must be manufacturing quality. But anyway, after that, find the 3 holes on EB, line it up, screw it in. So let's do it some hand threads, just to get it on. I'm just wiggling it around so I can make sure it's not cross-threaded. Okay, now that that's together, take my Milwaukee and tighten it. On these things, I like to tighten outside and then the center. But there are also benefits to doing it incrementally, like evening out the pressure. But in this case, now we have all 3 tightened. Let me just make sure. Okay. And we're going to do this 4 more times. I'm missing a 12th bolt. Okay, so this is the second time that this has happened. We didn't have enough of the carriage bolts, and now we don't, the cement anchors. Now we don't have enough of these really long bolts, and these seem critical. So I'm not really sure if we can have one missing. We're gonna forego the middle one, but I'm a bit worried about its structural integrity if we do that. That's okay. We're gonna keep building from here on, and hope it works out. But that kind of goes to show like the quality that you'll get if you order from Temu. Thankfully, this looks like one of those pieces that they don't have anything going on the underside of this. So if we do find the bolt later, which we probably won't, but if we do, we can just insert it after the fact. Okay, so now that we have all 4 of these assembled, we're actually going to already put them together by taking this piece. It's called L, and they're going to, L, and they're going to screw on top of them, making sure that it's the small piece here. These 2 bolts, or these 2 threaded holes, line up with these 2 holes. And then we're going to screw them in from the bottom using just the normal number 1 screw that we've been using for quite a while. So this would be the point where you start moving it and assembling it under the canopy. Because once this is assembled, it's going to spread out really far, really wide. Okay. Alright. So this is gonna be a bit tricky. Let's try doing 2 opposite corners and seeing how that works. So we'll have 2 people, 2 on both sides, try to screw in a screw, and I think it's a number 1 screw on both sides. Yeah, it's number 1. So I'll give this to my cameraman, and we'll both get on ladders and try to put it on top. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. We have 2 of them up right now. We have this ladder supporting it to make sure it doesn't tilt to the side. And while I get the 3rd one on, my dad's going to support that just to make sure it doesn't tilt while I screw it in up there. Okay, so very simple. I'm going to need 3 of these bolts. 2 of them goes here and then 1 of them goes here. Maybe I should do this one first. Okay, so it would be nice for my cameraman to make sure that the other thing doesn't fall down as soon as I push it. Yeah, so I asked my dad to, while I was screwing that one, to hold this one in place, just in case these ones had an issue with like tilting this way, just to be safe, because I don't think it's going to happen, because it's already secured in those 2 points. But this is like a $600 gazebo and I don't want to risk it. But once we have 3 of them on, the last one should be pretty simple. Okay. So the last one is going to be here. that being done, now we're gonna put on some brackets. Oh, we're gonna put on the other ones. We're gonna put on these ones that go in the middle. So that should be pretty similar, and thankfully this one should actually be a tiny bit easier, except for the fact that, okay, so at the top it's gonna be the same thing, but at the bottom we're gonna need these W3 brackets. This is kind of confusing perspective. Okay, let's take a look at the brackets. So there's 2 holes at the bottom here, so that means that these W3 brackets, I think these are the W3, yep, these are the W3 brackets. You can see they're kind of angled. They're gonna be, they have 2 holes on one side and 1 ovular hole on the other. So that means the one with the side 2 holes is gonna go on this side. Oh my god, this is also scorching hot. So make sure you keep all of your parts out of the sun. I can feel it through the bag, it's so hot. Anyway, the other 1 bolt is just gonna go on these. And I think they go, you can't see it, but it's on that, on yeah, so it's on the top hole of that part P that we did before. Okay, so let's try putting it on. I think the way that we're going to do it is try to fix the bracket first, then so we're going to do 1 bolt for the bracket, then we're going to put E1 on, then we're going to fix the 2 bolts for the bracket, and then finally the top one. You can do it however order you want or is comfortable to you. Okay, and these are also going to require number 1 bolts for the bottom and the top. But for these 2 bolts here that go on the underside of E1, they use number 12. Which, okay, they've kind of gotten mixed up. I don't know why they packaged it like this. It's kind of annoying that they did this. But just to double check, let's look at our parts list to make sure that 12 is the right length. So 12 is 12 millimeters long, so it's about 1 centimeter long. So that means 12 is probably going to be this one. No, wait. No, that's 5. 5 is also, 10 millimeters long. So we're looking for something just a bit longer. And I believe 5 comes with these caps on it. So you want to look for the bolts in here that are about 1.5 centimeters long, and also don't have a cap on them. So we need 8 of those. Yeah, while we're here, I just want to point out they give us the exact number of bolts that you need. They don't give us extras. The only thing they give us extras of is the curtain hooks, which is kind of annoying. Because why give us extra of that if you're not going to give us extra of all the bolts? Like other things that we assemble, they always give us extra. And then when we get here, just the exact number. So pointless. Okay, so now we have 8, and we're going to use those to assemble the next step. Okay. Here. And then let's get 8 of these. And let's just double check that before we put these on. Let's see what diameter these are. Okay, these are also 4 bolts. So 4 millimeter on both of them. So let's take our bracket. Take it out. And attach it with, this one's going to be a number 1 bolt. Oh my god, it's sizzling hot. It's so hot right now. Anyway, let me just move this under the shadow. Alright, so let's fix this on. How interesting. So it's an ovular hole. So it's an oval shaped hole, which means it's supposed to give you like vertical clearance. But I'm not sure how that clearance is supposed to help us. Also, we don't want this to be full tightness, since we want to give it some leeway to support what comes next. Okay, so let's take 1E. Make sure that it zigzags so that that main roof is lower than the top roof. In this case, you don't have to worry about the top because it kind of goes in between those two legs. So you don't have to worry about it like falling off. So now we're going to take our number 12 bolts and put 2 of them on. And fasten them. Oh, and make sure you're tightening. Oh. Okay, in this case, I'm gonna tighten it fully, but you should really tighten it after you do the top one. Okay, so next we're gonna take our number 1 bolt. We're gonna hand insert it. You might have to wiggle it around a bit just to get the right fit. Okay. And then simply secure it. All right, and that is in there pretty sturdily. Okay. So now you want to repeat that four more times, and then we'll be done with the spider. Okay, let's get that bracket in there. Bracket in there. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty chill. And I did the same thing again. And the Milwaukee is kind of annoying. Why'd they put the directional change far away from the handle? Okay. Gotta be careful with that one. Looks like it's almost stripped. Can you get me the second one? Thank you. Up here. and there we go. Alright, so we're going to continue putting on the roof in the next video. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm Aiman, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Okay, so we put all 12 bolts, actually we put all 11 anchors. And a few tips that we have is that, you know, putting 1 or 2 bolts can be easier, but getting the third one in requires a lot of precision to make the exact hole where the hole should be. So you might want to enlarge the actual metal to give you more leeway to insert the anchor and for it to be aligned. In our case, we put 11 because we actually lost the 12th one. But that's okay. If we find the 12th one, we'll put it. Shouldn't be too hard of a problem to solve. But that's pretty much the hardest part done, and the most I think tedious part, because after this, everything is in the instructions. I do definitely recommend doing this before you put the entire structure together, so that you don't have to lift a lot of weight though. Oh yeah, I need to push it a bit more to the right.